Alright everyone, not only is it a good day because it is Friday, but it is happy days over here in crypto because we have started to see Bitcoin enter honey badger mode, start hunting up for those higher levels with haste as Bitcoin likes to do when it gets impulsive. After finding nice support at the range lows, me screaming that the bears are probably going to be wrong, we have seen price start escaping up into these vectors with that very quick impulsive price action, and we can talk about our next targets in today's video as well as what I expect kind of the next moves are. Currently, on this clean chart, you can see that the targets are simply liquidity at all-time high above $74,000. It's a huge chunk of liquidity. I am in longs from the range lows, and I will be targeting this as my main TP level, so I'm very bullish. I think we're going to get all the way up there relatively quickly, but assuming we do get up here, I'm not a super moon boy. I don't necessarily think we're going to keep continuing up, so we'll talk about what to plan for, assuming we get up there. Look over here at trading light. These are some sweep levels that were potential short areas, not respecting any of it. You only short these sweep levels when you get a swing failure pattern above them. None of this is a swing failure pattern, so still looking very good for bulls. And Bitcoin is continuing to go pedal to the metal after breaking through mid-channel trend. So as we see here, this descending channel we've been in, mid-channel trend has been a point we wanted to get back above, and after making all these poor highs, I kind of assumed we would do that, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't a swing failure pattern, and so far so good. This just does not look like a swing failure pattern. So what I want to do is get out of this real simple chart that we have here, get into some of these more specific levels, talk about this because we actually did just magnet up into something that is pretty huge. So you got to hear my thoughts on this, as well as the S&P dollar. Some of our other charts are doing some very critical things today, so stay tuned. But before we do get into that, you guys probably know I don't like to shove exchanges in your face at the beginning of every video. I like to get straight to the point, but today I do have a new partnership, so I got to announce it. I'm now partnered with JumpX. You might think, what in the world is JumpX? Never heard of them before. They're actually a new exchange that just launched within the last couple of months, and what's so awesome about them is they don't care where you're from, no KYC, no VPN. For anyone that is struggling to find a good exchange out there, you've tried BingX, but they went full KYC, so a lot of people haven't really been able to trade with them. Bluefin has been a fan favorite for a lot of people, but they just don't have a lot of trading pairs, especially on spot. So I think JumpX can be a go-to exchange for a lot of people, and you don't really have to worry about them being super sketchy because they're actually partnered with George over at Cryptos RS as well. So, I'm sure he's done his research as well as I did my own research. I had them send me their exchange data. If you want to see that data, join the Discord. Links in the description down below in the announcements section. I did post their reserve data. It is backed over 1-to-1 right now, so you don't really have to worry about the security of your funds. And since they're helping support the channel, I would ask that you go help support them. So go ahead and click that link in the description down below. Sign up for JumpX. Go ahead, try to earn some of these rewards, and definitely let me know what you think about the exchange. I've used them for a short bit. I have some trades actually opened over on JumpX. I opened some long positions, and I gotta say they have a pretty nice UI, very clean. So go ahead and make sure to sign up for JumpX using my link in the description down below. Now that that's out of the way, I don't want to waste any more of your guys' time. Price action right now, very critical point. We actually just boosted up into the macro point of control, the 64,500 level that we had talked about in yesterday's video, after bouncing off of this volume to the downside. So we talked about these two levels that we actually found and drew out in yesterday's video, which was 60,850, 60,750, and we talked about wanting to watch these levels. Initially, we found some resistance, but then did get back above, backtest that S support. As soon as you backtested this S support, it was a sign you were about to skyrocket because there was no volume above these levels. Yes, you have previous range volume levels, but really on the main range that we had been creating, your volume was sitting here, and once you flipped that into support, that was absolutely signaling you were targeting this liquidity up above these highs. And when we got through this liquidity, we did not have much of a swing failure pattern. We kind of just went ballistic all the way up to this point of control. Now, obviously, as we've been talking about, resistance is resistance until it is flipped into support. So don't be surprised after rejecting this point of control if Bitcoin were to come all the way back down to, let's say, value area low. This is what we've been talking about, right? Assuming Bitcoin was going to target the liquidity, which I said was very likely, probably going to get above value area low, and then once you backtest this as support, your next target would be value area high, which is all the way up here at around $68,500. So that's still kind of what I'm thinking, right? Potentially we have this pullback down here and then go ahead and move on up. But I will say, when Bitcoin likes to get impulsive, we've talked about this a lot, that it doesn't like to pull back, right? We could easily see this just keep flipping volume into support, as we have seen on these shorter term time frames, right? We go in here, probably 15 minutes shows it the best. We already have seen this value area low just get ripped through, right? We have found initial resistance, but then go ahead and absolutely just obliterate it to the upside. And then value area high, never really even found resistance, just got back above, tested as support for a little bit, and then kept sending on up higher. So let's see what happens with this point of control. Will it be a clear rejection, or will we go ahead and actually flip this into support and continue up on higher? Only time will tell. This is a big point of control for the entire range. The 64.5 level is really the point of control of everything that has been going on. It'll probably be easier to show over on this chart. This is a nice simple chart to look at. And if we go ahead and pull a fixed range volume profile from range start to current price, you will see that no, I'm actually wrong. The point of control is a bit higher up, 67,300. So 67,300 is going to be up at these volume levels, right? I have this marked out as well. So yeah, actually now that price has spent more time within this range, it has changed the volume profile, and we have actually moved our main point of control all the way up. So while yeah, these levels are still being respected, we found some initial resistance off of it. The fact that it's not our current main point of control, I would expect price to continue to hunt up, and I'm going to actually make this chart a bit cleaner here, and I'm just going to put something right up here at $67,000. Let's just keep this in the chart. This is the main point of control to be watching for. After backtested this volume, I would not be surprised if this is our next target, and I might put some blind TPs there actually for some of my long positions, because I am giga long in the market right now. I have longs open on 3 different exchanges, as well as an insane spot position right now on a bunch of risk on assets. So let's see what Bitcoin can do here. Obviously, I'm pretty bullish on the price action and have consistently been bullish since the lows, right? I'm not just flipping because we are starting to see Bitcoin start getting aggressive with its price action. But I will say, don't be one of those guys that starts FOMOing in, especially on leverage. Maybe you were in a long from the lows and you TP'd your long right here, but price kept going up after you took profit, and you're like, oh crap, I got to get back in. Don't do that, because we are starting to see shorts getting squeezed, right? So after shorts get squeezed, a lot of longs can potentially pile up, and longs piling up after a short squeeze almost always get trapped. So while certainly this move has been very healthy, and I don't really expect we need to pull back, I would not be surprised if we keep going parabolic. We are probably going to find some resistance at some point, even if it is higher up, and then a quick wick down to flush this stuff is a Bitcoin thing to do. So definitely not the time to be getting in any leveraged positions or anything like that. Mainly just time to celebrate, sit back, watch the charts, let the bullish price action play out, and make sure we are staying level-headed in the market, because I am assuming when we get up to these higher levels, right, if we do start hunting this liquidity at around $74,000, $75,000, that there's going to be a lot of euphoria when we get up here, right? Everyone's going to be calling for a replication of what we had back in 2020, right? Very similar price action with this descending channel. And after this consolidation back in 2020, Bitcoin went on to do the entire bull run cycle. And I do think this time will be different. I'm not ruling it out that it can be the same, but I do expect we could potentially already be in distribution, and we could be entering Wyckoff upthrust after distribution. I know the distribution schematic is a bit skewed at this point because sign of weakness should have been here, but it was later on. But this certainly could be a sign of weakness, and if we were to come up here and squeeze through all-time highs, this could be your final upthrust. Maybe you do have some consolidation and a secondary sweep, right, and a deviation back within. But if we do see this deviation, it would be pretty confirmed at that point. Accepting this range would not be a good sign, and that would signal macro bear market after it. I think a lot of signs are pointing to that on a macroeconomic basis, with the Fed cutting rates in just about a month from now, combined with some other factors like 100-year cycles and the looming threats of world wars, civil conflicts. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in our broken world, so always make sure to keep a level head and think about every possible scenario, especially when we're seeing assets like gold continue to go parabolic with the stock market. Usually when all assets are going up at once, it is because market participants have no idea what to do. They are just trying to get gains out of the system. They don't trust the dollar, and gold continuing to go parabolic could be a warning sign. So we definitely need to stay a bit critical, right? Maybe if you are going to FOMO into something, FOMO into gold, because historically it does the best if we are going to enter a recession or depression. But don't be fooled. All assets do fall initially when we do enter those. So, you would expect a quick dip, but you would actually see gold resume the quickest and continue on up potentially after the dollar collapses. So if we are going to have some sort of dollar collapse scenario, right, we're getting all doomsday here. I don't really think any of this is going to happen for quite some time. I'm fairly optimistic, but there's definitely looming threats of it, especially when we do have the Fed cutting rate to stimulate the economy and an election in the United States that is extremely critical. A lot of things to think about. But yeah, essentially you would see your stock market, crypto, gold, it would all fall initially, but after they start printing money, the dollar would continue to fall, and then you would see asset prices skyrocket after that if we are going to go into a Venezuela type scenario. We're getting real theoretical here, but yeah, essentially there's a lot of things that could happen, but let's talk about the dollar because the dollar is looking very, very good for crypto. And it's actually the one thing that's telling me, hey, maybe we don't just do Wyckoff up to our sector distribution. If the dollar is really going to hunt down to these range lows, I would not be surprised to see $100,000 plus on Bitcoin. We are now starting to target down here because we are clearly losing the support after actually backtesting it as resistance. We go over here to the hourly time frame. You can see we tried to initially bounce off this level as talked about in yesterday's video, right? We had nice support that we bounced off of, but did not get back above our other supportive level and flipped that support into resistance. And now back under all support. We are in no man's land when it comes to the dollar, and this could be an absolute falling knife, aka flying knife for Bitcoin because they're inversely correlated. It's also inversely correlated with the S&P, and we see the S&P now is back up at this range high. This is very likely to break, and we should see all-time highs very, very soon here on the S&P 500, which is again awesome for crypto. And not only is a safe haven index like the S&P doing real well, but the Russell 2000, your lower cap stocks, are absolutely going parabolic along with Bitcoin, now accepting back into its previous bull market range of 2021 that we've been talking about. If you want a big altcoin season, you need to get back up here in the Russell and preferably break out into new highs. And we are certainly back in the game, now testing this point of control, showing a lot of strength. Let's see if this does flip into support and continue to go parabolic, or if we do have a bit of a pullback here. You know, we could have some more consolidation. I'm not saying everything's just going to go to the moon right now, but certainly accepting this range is really awesome to see. And with the dollar dumping like it is, I wouldn't be totally surprised if we do just go parabolic, especially if this is going to be an earlier onset top, right? If we are going to top out when the Fed does cut rates, then the markets could make some big moves before then. So everyone's FOMOing in next month, and that's where the true top does actually take place. Talked about the altcoin market. We're getting up to this volume level as well, so we'll make sure to keep watching this on the channel. So definitely stick around to keep updated on these daily videos. We're not quite out of the woods yet, but so far so good. Everything is playing out great, especially seeing that dollar get into no man's land could be a very bullish sign for even higher prices than I am expecting. But of course, I'm going to keep my base case pretty conservative. I'm expecting if we get up here and there's a lot of euphoria in the markets, this is the time to get cautious, not to FOMO. But if you do have any questions about anything I talked about or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below. Also below that link is a VIP Discord if you want to learn more about leveraged trading. I am trying to provide as much value as possible to make it worth your money, and it is 50% off right now. That's only for about one more week, so definitely don't miss out on signing up for the Crypto Eagles VIP for just $20 for your first month. See what you think about it. Go check that out. Also, don't forget the JumpX exchange, my new exchange partner. Go sign up with them, try them out, let me know what you think. Go ahead, earn yourself some awesome rewards with them as well as some other exchanges I have linked down in the description, some of which have exclusive limited time events, especially if you can KYC. I love my partner being X, so make sure to go check that out as well. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.